Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Partnerships Town Hall here in September. My name is Noah Dial. I'm the Partnership Engagement Specialist, and we've got some very special guests here today to talk about some of our most prominent partners that we have as an organization. Our agenda, what we're looking at today, and our desired outcomes is we're going to all introduce ourselves and talk a little bit about how the partnerships have been going in the past year. Then we're going to get some detailed information about what chapters do for the American Red Cross in Movember and some of the things we're looking to expand and improve upon in the next year, and how to get involved with Lambda Chi Alpha's foundation and the Founders Day Challenge, which is coming up very soon. And then we'll have some time for some question and answer. If anybody has any questions, our emails will all be available at the end if you have any more direct, specific questions. But if you have anything that you think would be great for the good of the group, please feel free to bring it up towards the end of our session. As I already stated, I am Noah Dial, the Partnership Engagement Specialist at Lambda Chi Alpha. I work mainly with our for-profit and non-profit partners, mainly the American Red Cross in Movember, as well as some work with our Lambda Chi storefront. I'm going to pass it over to Katie to introduce herself.
Hi, my name is Katie Kowalski. I'm the Vice President of Engagement for the Lambda Chi Alpha Educational Foundation. We are excited to be here to talk about Founders Day Challenge and how we support all of Lambda Chi.
All right. I would like Tracy to go ahead and introduce herself.
Good afternoon to everyone that's on the call. My name is Tracy Crooks. I am one of 6, and my title is Biomedical National Partnership Manager for the American Red Cross. It's a pleasure to be here this afternoon. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Tracy. Keon?
What's up, everybody? My name is Keon Hatt. I work as a community development manager at Movember, and what that basically means is I oversee participation in our annual campaign for schools, universities, college sports teams, and professional sports teams as well. And I've been with the organization for about 4 years now.
Sure. Both Tracy, or all of Katie, Tracy, and Keon have been incredibly helpful in helping me learn the ropes when it comes to partnerships. We're going into my second year of working through all of these as my role has been created recently. And it's fun to get to see some of the different impacts that our students are making across the country and even in our Canadian chapters. So some main philanthropy updates, just a great overview of what is going on over the past year. Between fall 2023 and spring 2024, we raised 1,571 units through our partnership, the equivalent of 4,713 lives. That's a lot of blood donations, and it was hosted by 35 blood drives across 19 different chapters. This only hits 11% of our undergraduate chapters. Because of this, we are aiming to expand this to 30% going into next year. And as of right now, we have already hit the mark of, we are right about at the mark of that 11%, and it is only September. So big props to anybody on the call that has already started to work on hosting a blood drive, getting things organized. We really appreciate it, and you're really making a difference in people's lives. There's a lot of different plans in the works for how we can expand. I'm going to let Tracy speak more about that in a little bit, on how we can get other avenues to get involved with the Red Cross, as not every chapter can host a blood drive. So there is opportunities for working in disaster relief and volunteer services throughout this year, and we're going to speak a little bit about those later as well. When it comes to Movember, our final total is $96,543. This made us the #1 fraternity for Movember, a thing we are very proud of as we show our skate deck trophies in our office on the wall. It is great to get to be part of 2 organizations that are very deep causes that go with our values as Lambda Chi's. We care about that service and stewardship, and it's very important that we can have fun while we're doing this. And Movember is all about having fun, doing good. There's a lot of different opportunities to create the fundraising, and it's all about just getting creative and catering it to your campus. And a helpful note to note is that it was 58 chapters participating, or 35%. We're going to see if we can spike that a little bit more this year as well. So I'm going to go into a little bit about how the Red Cross blood drives have worked for our chapters so far. Two marquee examples here to work from. On our left here, we have our brothers from New York University that just hosted a blood drive. What would that be? The 15th of September. They paired with Delta Airlines for a one-time opportunity where they could host a very successful drive. The goal was 50 units and they raised 94 and got us a great photo of the work that they were doing out there. So what's key is that there is a variety of different ways you can get involved with the Red Cross, but blood drives are the easiest way to start the train, right? When you get in contact in a little bit, well, there will be some QR codes available where you can scan links that let you see the guide of how you can get involved in a blood drive if you so choose. And you can end up just like NYU. Currently, we are trying to hit as many states and universities as possible, hence that 30% goal. So as many chapters adopt this as possible is something that I really want to aspire towards. Along with that, we also have every conference we have, whether it's our High Alpha Summit in Neville's Advisor College or our General Assembly, we want to have a blood drive at every conference. That's a big thing that I undertake when it comes to conference time. And it's a great way to show chapters what a blood drive is really like and how you can start to get it set up, what the room looks like, because not everybody has given blood or seen what that's like before. It's important to have that example for our chapters, and it's why we do that at every single conference. We want to make sure that we show that we, as a leadership team, are also living by the same values we tell you as undergraduates. Here on our right, we can see our Chief Strategy Officer, Justin Fisher, getting ready to donate at General Assembly in 2024. He had a great time. And he also is a great advocate for helping promote the blood drives at these conferences. I am very appreciative of Justin and his help. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Tracy Crooks to speak a little bit about how we are going to look into new avenues for blood drives in the future, as well as other avenues of the Red Cross to get involved with. Tracy, take it away.
Thank you so much, Noah. And if I may, I would like to start off by saying, on behalf of the American Red Cross, we want to say thank you, thank you, thank you for a very impactful partnership, which includes, several of your chapters nationwide, and for those that will be coming on in 2025. I want to give some great news to a shout out. Year over year, Lambda Chi has achieved 206%. So that is something to applaud by. And again, if I can say congratulations on all the success that every chapter, even including the conferences, we really appreciate you so much. With that being said, one of the things that you'll hear coming up over the next few months is that we will have a month where Lambda Chi will focus, should I say, or throughout your organization, which they've chosen March of 2025 to make an impact when it comes to blood, and more direction will come later for that. I do want to point out that one of the opportunities that we really want to offer those chapters that are not in a blood collection area is our CPR AED training. So that actually falls under training services. I am working with Noah and also Tad to select those markets where there will be training scheduled off, the location will be all, should I say, Noah will actually work with you all as far as where the location, the dates, etc. With that being said, this is a certification training, which is good for 2 years. I think everyone will definitely enjoy this. This is something you can include on your resume and hopefully a part of your curriculum for the Learning Academy. We want everyone to continue to schedule blood drives. With that being said, one of the best practices that I would recommend is when you're working with your local account manager with the American Red Cross, go ahead and schedule 2 blood drives so that you can work together to choose the best date that will work for both. And have some choices, be flexible. with that being said, we know that each campus may have some initiatives, some goals that they want to set. So go ahead and try to create that calendar around your blood drive so that it can become a very big event. We also would like to offer another best practice is for Lambda Chi, of course, to take the lead, but go ahead and collaborate with other organizations on your campus and invite the community as well to come in and donate. This is where you get those huge numbers. We're more than happy to help you with whether it be if you want to do, play music, if you want to have some food, even things that you can't maybe say especially if it's a big event. I'm happy to try to give some giveaways. We can talk to our local account management team to make sure you have t-shirts. We want to support you in your efforts so that you are successful. And we also want to make sure that each blood drive, you include your sponsor code that will identify the chapter that actually gave the blood drive. There's also an affiliation. We want to make sure whether it's the point of contact for Lambda Chi is familiar with the sponsor code, and also your affiliation should be included, which is Lambda Chi Alpha. And my next thing on the list I want to talk about is your AA unit collections, which we talked about, I know, doing both of the conferences. Sickle cell, which is a disease that affects everyone, but primarily those of African American descent or people of color. And with that being said, it's very hard to, should I say, match, getting a right match for, so that people are not rejected. The blood is not rejected for those sickle cell patients. There's no cure, but when they actually are given blood, you are sustaining their lives, and that is fact. And I want you all to know that there is no cure. We have over 100,000 people of color that suffer daily. It is a deadly disease. If they do not get blood, they don't live. And so we want you to partner with organizations and make it very inclusive so that you all will be able to help save lives in that area as well. And lastly, I want to talk about the blood link. I want to say thank you to those, and I believe primarily it's pushed through your alumni association and possibly the foundation, those members, your family and friends, and those, whether you're in a collection area or a non-collective area of blood. You can also, should I say, promote our blood link. That is anybody that you know that's in support of you as an individual or the organization can actually schedule a blood, an appointment to give blood. So with that being said, we want to make sure that that is shared to everyone that is a listener. You can be a friend, you can be a family member, it could be through your church, it could be when you go home from, say, Christmas break or the summer, and you say, guess what? I don't collect blood on my campus, but guess what? I can still contribute by donating over the summer. And for those who may not know, you can donate a whole blood unit every 56 days, and Power Red, which you guys have done a great job, you can actually donate 112 days. So with that being said, I want to say thank you all so much for everything that you do for the American Red Cross. You have made a huge impact on our national partnership program. And coming up soon, we will be recognizing Lambda Chi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated with other partners. So we want to say thank you and all the best in every aspect of your business as well. And as for the students, pass those courses, and as you graduate, you become long life partners of the American Red Cross. So we want to say thank you.
Thank you so much, Tracy. You really are great at putting it all into a bundle and getting a lot of information to these folks in the call, where we can learn a lot about how to spread the word about the American Red Cross, what you can do to get involved, whether it's through the CPR AED certifications. I wanted to especially highlight those. If you are interested in that kind of activity and you wanted to get this training brought to your campus, that is something you would email me about, and then we can coordinate with Tracy to see what would happen. There's a lot of different ways that we could play to our strengths as a fraternity, right? Many Lambda Chi Alpha chapters are very well networked on campus, and spreading the word about blood drives or even inviting guests to the CPR AED training that you might have could be a way to show the campus that Lambda Chi is different, right? We want to show that we are partnered with the Red Cross because it goes with our values and our collective goals as an organization. Now, when it comes to Movember, the Red Cross is very much the setup of a Red Cross blood drive. A lot of the time goes into the hands of the account manager after you get the location for them and tell them when you want to host the drive, and it works out on schedule, right? No student is collecting blood, right? So instead of that, Movember has a lot more flexibility in the ways you can fundraise and get involved. I'm sure Keon will be able to tell you about multiple different unique ways that people have fundraised in the past. But when it comes to some of the men you see in front of you here, we've got some photos from our mustache competition last year we did on social media. Some look like they were grown over more time than Movember, but we've got a variety of different ways you can get involved, whether it's different kinds of ball-related tournaments or for testicular cancer awareness, one of the core causes of Movember, or having a battle of the bands was an idea I had suggested to me. Any kind of way where you can bring a crowd together, charge a fee, and say, hey, this is for a great cause. We want to have a great push for Movember and three main core causes of prostate cancer awareness, testicular cancer awareness, and men's mental health and suicide prevention. And on the right here, you can see myself and Blake Brown, one of our high alpha training specialists in our in-office mustache competition we had last year. We like to say he looks like Magnum PI a little bit, but it's fun to have these events in the office, similar to how I was saying that we have the blood drives at conferences. It's important to show that as an office of administration, we want to fundraise and participate right alongside you. Hence why we do an office of administration Movember team as well. With that, I'm going to go ahead and pass the torch to Keon to speak a bit about Movember.
Appreciate you doing that. No, these are awesome pictures. I remember the ones on the right and everything with that, with the little lambda border. It's pretty sweet. And one thing before I jump into this, no, would I be able to play a video real quick, or no? Do I have like sharing capability?
The hosting was a little bugged, so I wouldn't be able to have a video played, unfortunately.
Okay, no worries at all. But yeah, I'll just dive right into it. A lot of people, they think they know, what Movember is and everything like that. They think they've heard of it and all that kind of stuff. They think it's just growing a mustache and just, you know, going out in the community and just kind of rocking it with brothers. And that stuff's fun, but there's plenty of meaning behind it. Like the whole point of the movement and what we say at our tagline, our slogan at the end of the day, it's to stop men from dying too young. We're dying 6 years earlier than women for, what's known as completely preventable causes. But at the end of the day, like what that means is we just do stupid stuff as guys. Like we don't really take care of each other. We're not asking the right questions of each other. And us just as, fraternity guys, I wasn't in Lambda myself, but I was in another fraternity. And there's so many parallels that happen in each kind of in frat. And like you see these terms, these cliches that you hear kind of like your brothers for life or you're your brother's keeper. And if you're not actually being there and showing up for your brothers, if you're not asking questions about how they're actually doing, asking about their families, asking about how they're doing in school, it's hard to put really meaning behind those terms and everything. And that's what I love about the Movember campaign, why I love working with fraternities like Lambda itself and everything, is because you can be in a house of 10 brothers and a house of 90 brothers. And if all of you guys can grow out the mustache in solidarity, it's such a fun event. It's such a great time of year to remind your guys of selves, why you guys are doing this. How can you guys really kind of go beyond just the surface level through this movement? And, like I said, people wonder what happens, with the funds that we do get raised and everything like that, with the whiskers growing on the upper lip and the conversation started, impact is made. With fundraising, there's kind of three buckets that things go to for Movember. The first, think of things like community initiatives. So one example of this is our Making Connection site. So we invest into certain communities that are of high gang violence, that have communities affected by social economic status and everything as well. And for example, in Lawndale, Chicago, we invest in the equivalent of like a Boys and Girls Club. It's in a high gang violence neighborhood, so it's a community that as youth develops, there's so many things pulling them in different directions, and they need some sense of stability. They need some sense of rock. So through this Making Connections site that we have there called Legends of Lawndale, we're able to create a safe place for kids to play where they get an actual chance to just grow up and have some normalcy in their life, to have a sense of consistency. And all the people that work there and everything go through a mental health training that we provide. We pay for the equipment for them to just, get a chance to be a kid and play sports and do all the fun things and such. That's one example of money that gets invested. We do the same with indigenous groups. We do the same with local firefighter and veteran groups as well. Another example of funds that we do, it goes towards biomedical research. So we're trying to find alternatives to things like chemotherapy. We're trying to do things like what we funded was like the PSA blood exam. That really helps double check. That really helps be that kind of first barrier of check before you actually have to go and get a more intensive prostate exam. It's life-saving information right there. If you can go and do a blood test to screen and see if you actually need to go to your doctor, because oftentimes guys do avoid that. Guys don't like going to the doctor. Guys don't know how to make an appointment and everything half the time. We have some of the highest exit rates when it comes to things like going to even see a therapist or just even just going and doing an annual checkup. And then the third thing that money gets invested to is our annual campaign. It's that what you see on social media. It's what you see that's just being blasted everywhere. You hear that term Movember all throughout that month and everything. Is we really try and just create, a big web that we can cast across and everything, just getting guys to do things like literally taking care of themselves, like changing some of their habits. One way of doing this is doing our move challenge. This has become one of our best ways of participating outside of growing out the whiskers. The move challenge, the whole point of it is to really get people to understand the importance of connecting your physical and your mental health together. We ask people in that month to run 60 miles in the month of November because that represents the 60 men and boys we lose to suicide each day globally, or each hour of each day globally, which is a crazy number when you kind of think about it. In 1 hour, 60 men are dying. But if we can do something, if we can get guys out there moving, if we can build run clubs, if we can get communities involved in this and just in the know, people will feel so much more comfortable with actually talking about these sort of things, with actually thinking that they have a safe space before they start thinking about extremes like that. And when you're doing things like working out, when you're building out routines, your your mind, your body, everything starts flowing in a better way and everything. There's so many studies that kind of connect that. So that's one way that we ask people to get involved. And Noah mentioned with the campaigns, with getting involved with Movember, it looks so different across the board. What chapters do, what people do. Heck, I've told Noah this story a bunch of times, but we've had a guy that one time broke a Guinness Book of World Record for Movember for the most consecutive naked skydives in one day. He jumped out of a plane 63 times butt naked with nothing but a mustache, a parachute, and a ton of baby powder because he wanted to make headlines. He knew it was going to raise a lot of eyebrows and whiskers and everything like that, but he had a message to what he was doing. He went as soon as all those news trucks came up to him, asked him what he was doing and everything like that. He talked about doing this to represent men's health. He talked about doing this to represent his friend that took his own life so that he can get a message out there. I tell that story not just, I'm not telling you guys to jump out of a plane 64 times butt naked and break his record, but what I am telling you guys is like the sky's the limit with what we can do on your guys' campuses. Some campuses do things like a pumpkin smash where they go to the grocery stores and get the discounted pumpkins after Halloween and they smash pumpkins on their in front of campus and everything as a fundraiser and everything to raise awareness for this. Because what we try to do with this whole campaign is to figure out something that is fun, that is engaging, that we can put that mental health, that mustache twist on it and everything like that to associate back with men's health. It's the same with just the mustache itself that we ask people to wear. The whole thing with mustaches, they're iconic, they're silly, they're funny. If you've never grown out a mustache and you start growing out a mustache, people start wondering what's going on. Last year, everyone thought it was for the movie Top Gun, and they kept asking like, "Oh, did you see the Top Gun? Is that why you growing out a mustache?" And you got to tell them, "No, Top Gun's a great movie, but I'm doing this to represent men's health. I'm doing this to make an impact. I'm doing this to make a statement." because these little whiskers on our upper lip, they're like, we say it's our walking, talking billboard. You know, in the Breast Cancer Association, they have like a pink ribbon. We have a brown fuzzy one and everything that you got to shave off. So we encourage guys to grow out these mustaches in solidarity for those men that we lose, and as kind of this beacon of hope that you can have and everything to let guys be in the know. And when you think about events on your guys' campus, Tracy said the same thing with what she talked about with some of these blood drives. It's try to open it up to everybody. That's a huge thing. This is such impactful work. It takes a village to make change, whether you're donating blood or whether you're raising awareness for the community. I myself, whenever I think of a Movember campaign, whenever I think about when I was in my college fraternity, you never want to do something where it just stays in house, because you never know if in the house next door there's a kid struggling, or if his brothers aren't really asking him how he's doing. And through, you know, even a 3-on-3 basketball tournament that you do for Movember, a dodgeball tournament or something like that, you guys can really raise awareness and get guys just having these conversations, get the guys talking about it. And that's how you start learning. That's how you guys start breaking some of these stereotypes, these stigmas, and these habits that are oftentimes associated, you know, with fraternities and everything like that. And it's just so embedded in our culture. So with this campaign this year and everything, I really would love to invite you guys to kind of participate with Movember. We have a variety of different ways. You guys can join our student ambassador program. I think Noah will send out an email about that with that link. I could put it in the chat if you guys want as well. It's a great way to get kind of the behind the scenes of the organization, participate with so many different other university students across the country and get a chance to see what they're doing. Some other fun stuff. We signed a huge partnership this year with Gillette. So if come November 1st and you guys want to get involved and do a shave down on campus, we can send you guys Gillette razors and all that stuff to clean up the little whiskers first and everything, because we don't want anyone really cheating for it and then growing it out for the rest of the month. So a lot of fun new things are coming our way. We have a new campaign called the Real Faces of Men's Health that will really kind of showcase through community members, you know, what mental health really means. Some people think that it doesn't affect them. Some people don't think that they'll ever be bothered by these things. But this campaign just goes to show you that it affects everyone in the community. It affects like everyone has their own journey with mental health. So we just try to get guys in the know to help improve mental health literacy. Another really cool program that we have coming out is called Mind Moves. We're launching a whole collegiate NIL mental health program focused on helping college athletes navigate the murky waters that is NIL, and a lot of other kind of fun things that are going on. So if you guys want to get more involved, I'll put my email in the chat. I'm sure Noah and Katie will send it out, but we love what Lambda has been doing. Noah mentioned you guys raised $96,000 last year as part of our fraternity challenge. The next closest fraternity raised about 45,000. So you guys are kicking butt. I can't wait to see what you guys kind of come up with this year. But like we said, no idea is too big. No idea is too small that we can't make collective impact with it. So appreciate each and every one of you guys and all you guys have been doing for the cause.
Thank you. Thank you. And a big thing that I'd like to touch on is the butterfly effect that comes from both these partnerships, right? We may never truly see the full impact of the fundraising or the blood drives that come from both partnerships, but that's kind of the brilliance of it, right? You never know the impact of how deep that fundraising or blood can really help somebody's life, right? So even doing that can be heroic, right? And is great in line with our core value of duty, right? We want to make sure that we are constantly able to take that call to action and help those in need. So I've got some links here. I am realizing that I do not have the Movember Student Ambassador link, so I would appreciate that in the chat if you have it, Keon. Here, though, I'll tell you about these 3 different links that are on the screen. As if you'd like to scan them, they will also be sent out later with the recording, presentation, all that stuff. The Red Cross one-sheeter is the handy-dandy guide that shows you how to get in contact with your local Red Cross representative and code your blood drive correctly with the sponsor code and affiliation. This will allow you to be able to get all of your blood drive counted towards the Lambda Chi Alpha grand total and make sure that we are able to track what's going on. The Red Cross Blood Link, as Tracy mentioned earlier, is a way you can donate outside of Lambda Chi Alpha sponsored blood drives. If you live in an area where you're not near a chapter that's hosting a drive, or like an alumnus, or your chapter just isn't able to host a drive, but you'd still like to help out, you can use this blood link and register to donate, and that will count your donations towards our grand total as well. The Getting Started with the Movember document here is a simple guide to show how to create your team page and individual page for Movember this year. As you create your team pages, it'll have you join the Lambda Chi Alpha Fraternity Challenge, which will have a giant leaderboard showing who our top chapters are. Currently, the University of Georgia, one of our fresher Lambda Chi chapters, already has raised close to a little over $6,000 in donations, and we are not even in October. So big shout out to the brothers at University of Georgia. With that, I'm going to pass it over to Katie to speak a little bit about the Founders Day Challenge.
Thanks so much, Noah. Thanks, Keon and Tracy. I've known you guys for a little while now, and it's just a great partnership, and I look forward to seeing what chapters do every year. Speaking of what we do every year, we're in the 4th year of the Founders Day Challenge. Noah, would you mind going to the next slide for me, please? So what is the Lambda Chi Alpha Educational Foundation? Some of you may not know. So we are a 501c3 nonprofit, and we solely exist to support Lambda Chi. So we fundraise from alumni, undergraduate brothers, parents, friends of Lambda Chi, and we give it all back to you, the members, through grants to the fraternity for educational programming, as well as scholarships. So those are the big ways that we give back to members. And if you participated in Ideal Man, Lambda Chi Academy, High Alpha Summit, any of these other programs that we're doing, we make those available to you for as little cost as we can, because we have donors that care so much about your Lambda Chi experience. It's just a really great thing to see brothers giving back to brothers. So that's what we're here for. And we want to get you involved. So we're going to ask Noah to advance again, and we're going to talk about the Founders Day Challenge. So Founders Day is November 2nd. We go through this campaign every year. We're looking to engage ambassadors, connect brothers, and fundraise for all the programs and scholarships that we provide. Our hope is to have 300 committed ambassadors, 3,000 donors, and we are rocking and rolling. And this year, we're counting everything that we raise all year for our We Believe Fund, which is our fund that makes all of this possible. And so I want to talk a little bit about the logistics of the program. Noah, if you could hit the next slide for me. So what is the Founders Day Challenge? It is a competition. It's a fundraising competition. We look at these divisions and look at the most dollars raised and the most donors participating. And we pin chapters against each other and give away prizes for first, second, third place, recognizing chapters in these divisions. It's a lot of fun. And it's an award-winning program. We've actually been recognized by our peers for hosting this fundraiser. It's a really great time. And it's just a really great way to celebrate the legacy of Lambda Chi. We're 115 years old, and we've impacted over 300,000 members. And we're just continuing to really try and reach more and more young men and help them live great lives by Lambda Chi's values. Now, I'm obviously not a Lambda Chi, but I can appreciate well, maybe that wasn't obvious, but it should be. But I can appreciate as a member of Sigma Kappa, I can appreciate the mission, and Tracy's an Alpha Kappa Alpha. She understands as well. So and Keon as well. So it's just a great thing to be able to give back and engage members in this challenge. So what do you win? Well, if you're in first place, Noah will show on the next slide. We give away these giant trophies, which are really fun. We present them during the High Alpha Summit. So the next one will be coming up here in January. We also give shout outs on social media, on our website, and in the Cross and Crescent magazine. But new this year, I'm really excited. I got this idea from someone on staff doing this championship belt for the top undergraduate fundraisers in each division. So you're able to join the challenge website, create your own fundraising page, share that out with your networks, family, friends, whomever. If they love you, they love Lambda Chi. That's how we think about it. So, because Lambda Chi is part of who you are. So very excited about that. I want to talk about the easiest way for chapters to participate, though. If you're not willing to personally fundraise yourself, which is totally fine. We want you to participate however works for you. But the easiest way is to join Mason Circle. What is Mason Circle? It is our undergraduate giving level. We ask you to donate $19.09 for the year. That's how you join. The chapters that get 100% participation, they're going to be recognized as well. So you get 100% of your active members donating $19.09. You're also going to get a trophy. You're also going to be recognized. So I'm going to have Noah show you the 2023 Mason Circle chapters. So these are all the chapters that went all in 100% last year. We really appreciate that. And I've got some of them that are already signed up. If we go to the next slide. So TCU, Georgia, Oregon, Wabash are already committed for this year. And it's not even November yet. If you're ready to sign up or ask, if you want to learn more, you can reach out to us. I'll drop the link in the chat as well. But we're very excited, and we're just looking to get as many brothers involved as we can. So thank you all very much.
Thank you so much, Katie. It's great to see all the different things that come out of the foundation's fundraising and all the programming that comes from it, being able to have these great conferences, scholarship opportunities. Many great things come from Mason Circle participants, right? And if you're looking for a way to get some hardware in your chapter house, this is a great way to get a trophy, right? So we want to make sure that you can understand how useful the Mason Circle path can be. Now we've got some time for some Q&A. I'm going to go ahead and skip to the next slide, though, so you can see our emails in case you need those. But I'll leave this up on the screen for a minute, and then I will stop sharing so I can see everybody's faces, and we can answer some questions. All right. If anybody has any questions, feel free to put them in the chat or go ahead and unmute and speak.
Quiet group today.
I have a question for Miss Tracy. So for the blood drives, we've been doing quite a few with Red Cross. I think we have close to also Timmy Marshall. I'm the High Theta at Lambda Chi Auburn. Probably a good part to start. But we've raised about 96 units, and I think we have one more blood drive to go. I was just wondering, so you mentioned collaborating with community organizations. Are there any national organizations present on a lot of campuses that Red Cross usually likes to collaborate with? I'm just kind of wondering if there's one that usually works a little better than others.
That's an excellent question. And thank you so much for all the awesome work and saving lives that you've done thus far. It doesn't hurt to, I would say just from best practices and what I hear and see around campuses, other fraternities and sororities, if you have a nursing program or a pre-med along with your SGA and other organizations, like if there is say, African American and say Latino group organizations that are recognized. That way you kind of included almost everyone that has some type of national and local initiative as well. So you want to really talk and hear them, like if you go to the SGA association meetings, and a lot of times they'll tell you who's on campus, and they basically talk about their own mission and their own initiatives that they have, because it's almost like you're working hand in hand. Now, you really want to be smart by, if you're leading it, you want to make sure you're using your sponsor code versus theirs. And and make that something aware, I think, at the beginning when you're collaborating, because sometimes it may not be where, all they're interested in is being able to say they helped, they worked, but they're not looking to say get credit from the American Red Cross per se. Timothy, did I answer your question?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We've got a question from John here. Take it away, John.
Hi, my name is John. I currently serve as the High Theta at Tarleton State University. I have kind of two questions. I'll ask mine, probably a quick and easy one, for either Noah or Katie. One of the ways that I'm trying to find is to raise money rather than taking cash, check, or card. I want to get like our alumni more involved. I want to get our families more involved, other chapters alumni involved, just to generate more revenue for these wonderful partnerships that we have through Lambda Chi Alpha. Is there any way that we have like a crowd change or like any like fundraising pages that we utilize that we have partnerships with maybe?
Noah, you want me to take that?
You can take it mostly. The one thing I
Mostly.
will note is when it comes to Movember, all of the fundraising for Movember goes on the individual team page. So
Okay.
that'll go directly through them. When it comes to other stuff, I'll let Katie speak to that.
Okay, sweet.
Sure. Well, so I know the chapters, they tend to fundraise locally, and that money can stay with them depending on, the use, right? So, if you're wanting to just donate locally, that's obviously an opportunity to do that. But we also have chapters that, have a fund with the foundation, and they use that to like pay to go to High Alpha Summit or pay to go to General Assembly, or give their own scholarships. They may have alumni that want to form a scholarship committee, and kind of set their own path on that, as opposed to our national scholarship program. So there's a lot of ways, we can do that. And our online fundraising, as part of Founders Day Challenge, we utilize a tool called Classy. There's a lot of different tools that you could use, if you were wanting to facilitate that. PayPal has charity, fundraising tools. Same with, I think now even on Venmo, you can have a charity page. There's a lot of different ways. So it just really depends on, what's your goal? What are you trying to fundraise for? Where do you want the money to go? Did the donors care if there's a tax deduction with it or not? Because if they give it just to you, a page that you create, they're not necessarily going to get that benefit. But they may not care, right? It just depends. So.
Yes.
Any other questions on that?
Not on that. I do have another question for Tracy. So I'm in Stephenville, Texas. It's like in rural Texas. Like our closest one is, I believe, Dallas, Fort Worth area, and that is still like a 3.5 hour drive depending on traffic. Do I just get in touch with, like, I know we probably can't get like a blood drive bus out here just since that is such a far drive. Who would I get in contact with about setting some of that stuff up?
Well, first of all, John, thank you so much for your question and your willingness to host a blood drive. There are certain areas that are not in our what we consider our collection markets. South Texas, and depending on, based on your zip code, we would need to see whether or not you qualify. If so, make sure that you reach out to NOAA, especially if this is going to be your first blood drive, so that we will provide the education around establishing a blood program. If that doesn't work, we are definitely willing to help you with that CPR AED because you have the opportunity to save lives immediately. Someone could be in distress, and sometimes it takes a minute for EMT to arrive. But we don't want to wait on that. We know that I know it's football season, and I can't even think of the player's name who unfortunately had the cardiac arrest a season or so ago, but made his first, I think, touchdown yesterday. Yes, you football people, I can't think of his name, but that's a miracle. He was saved right there on the field from CPR. So with that being said, there are other ways that you definitely can partner with us. And something else we can do and get with Noah, because like I said, it might be something we can do with that blood link. Because you don't stay on campus the whole entire time. You do go home for the breaks. And that's something that you all can do as well. But I want to say thank you. Thank you, John. Now, did I answer your question?
Yes. Thank
Okay.
you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Is there any other questions that are in the field?
And I did put something in the chat, Noah, if you want to read it out. It's just about the training and what CPR AED stand for.
Oh, gotcha. There we go. I'll put that in the chat now. Right. If you have any interest in the CPR AED training, this is one where you would reach out to ndial at lambdachi.org and we can get some stuff coordinated because it's a little more case by case basis, right? Because it's only for a group of 12 or so at a time, right? It's not something you can do with your whole chapter normally with size. So it's a specific group that would have this kind of interest normally. But if you have any interest in CPR AED training, please let me know. We can try to make something happen, especially for instances where you cannot host a blood drive and you'd really like to get involved. All right. Well, if there are no more questions, I will go ahead and adjourn this town hall. Thank you all for coming. Thank you to Tracy, Keon, and Katie for coming out and giving us a little information on what is going on with our partnerships, right? So thank you all for coming, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Noah and team. You rock.
Thank you, guys. We appreciate you all.
I appreciate you guys. Good night.
Go on.